A very good evening and welcome to the news tonight here at Rajya Sabha TV, where we get you the day's top stories from India and across the world. I'm Tracy Shilshi and let's start with the headlines. Impasse continues over Jammu and Kashmir government formation. The BJP Deputy Chief Minister Nirmal Singh meets PDP's Mehbooba Mufti. India and Brunei signed 3 agreements concerning health, youth, sports affairs and defence. Both sides also decide to conduct joint military exercises. The Supreme Court agrees to re-examine the verdict on homosexuality, refers the matter to a 5-judge constitution bench. RBI keeps rates intact, says it will watch inflationary pressures and the upcoming union budget for a clear roadmap on key macroeconomic parameters. And US Senator Ted Cruz defeats billionaire Donald Trump at the Iowa Republican caucus. Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton wins by a coin toss after close tie with Senator Bernie Sanders. Top story this evening, political uncertainty continues in Jammu and Kashmir. Both the state units of the PDP and the BJP held separate meetings today to discuss the possibility of government formation. This was on a day when both sides were slated to convey their positions on the issue to Governor N.N. Vohra.
The BJP is blaming the PDP for the delay in forming the government in Jammu and Kashmir. Party leaders claim the uncertainties from the other side. However, they maintain that the BJP is still committed to the common minimum program of the coalition.
Common minimum program के effective implementation की बात है. जहाँ तक common minimum program के implementation का प्रश्न है, day 1 से उसको sincerely letter and spirit में implement करने के लिए हम सब, हमारा पार्टी हमेशा प्रतिबद्ध है. इसलिए इस विषय में किसी प्रकार की आशंका का कोई गुंजाइश नहीं है.
Governor N.N. Vohra has already asked coalition partners BJP and PDP to clarify their stand on government formation.
मैं चाहूंगी कि हमारी जो अलायंस बीजेपी के साथ है, जो मुफ्ती साहब ने की है, जो नई सरकार बननी है, नई सरकार बनने से पहले बीजेपी ने गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ से कुछ ऐसे मेजर्स हों जम्मू कश्मीर के हवाले से, कश्मीर के हवाले से नहीं, खाली जम्मू कश्मीर लद्दाख के हवाले से कुछ ऐसी चीजें हों जिससे जम्मू कश्मीर में एक अच्छा माहौल बने और जब अगर नई सरकार बनती है तो उसको एक स्पेस मिले, उसको एक फ्लिप मिले. तो मैंने ये बातें कही हैं.
The core group of the state BJP held meetings and also sent a 3-member team to New Delhi for consultations with the central leadership. BJP's Deputy Chief Minister Nirmal Singh also met Mehbooba Mufti ahead of a meeting with the governor.
हमारे पास ऑफिशियली कुछ नहीं आया है, एश्योरेंस की बात कुछ नहीं आई है, क्योंकि हम कोलिशन पार्टनर्स हैं और जो भी बात होगी आमने सामने की होगी. इस प्रकार की कोई बात अभी नहीं है, लेकिन हमने गवर्नर साहब से समय मांगा है कि हमें एक और समय दिया जाए ताकि जो चीजें हैं उनको रिजॉल्व करने के लिए हमने कम से कम 8-10 दिन कहे हमने.
Meanwhile, on Tuesday, traders called for a 1-day shutdown to protest against the government's failure in compensating them for the huge losses. Only a handful of people were seen out on the roads.
जो 2014 में यहाँ पे फ्लड आई थी, यहाँ पे काफी नुकसान हुआ था ट्रेडर्स का, दुकानदारों का. हालांकि सारे कश्मीर में फ्लड आई थी, लेकिन इसके बाद इन्होंने डिमांड की थी हमें कुछ रिलीफ चाहिए. लेकिन जब से आप जानते हो कि इनको मिला कुछ नहीं, बस इनको ख्वाब दिखाए गए कि हम आपको ये देंगे वो देंगे. लेकिन एट लास्ट जब इन्होंने देखा कि इनको कुछ नहीं दिया गया, इसलिए आज ट्रेडरों ने कश्मीर में कॉल दिए कि दुकानें बंद रहेंगी और कश्मीर बंद रहेगा.
The traders' protest for the second day comes amid concerns that the government could abandon the proposal to provide financial rehabilitation to the state. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti has maintained that she wanted to reassess whether the Narendra Modi government would take substantive steps within a set time frame to address the core political and economic issues of the state. With 27 MLAs in the 87-member assembly, the PDP ran a coalition government with the BJP's 25 legislators for 10 months, till the demise of Chief Minister Mufti Saeed on January 7th brought about the current situation. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
The Supreme Court has agreed to re-examine the law that criminalizes homosexual acts and makes them punishable by up to a decade in prison. A 5-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court will hear the curative petitions seeking a re-examination of its verdict criminalizing gay sex under Section 377. A 3-judge bench comprising Chief Justice T.S. Thakur and Justices A.R. Dave and J.S. Khehar had referred it to a constitution bench, saying that important issues concerning the constitution were involved in the matter. There are 8 curative petitions seeking the re-examination of an order by which the Delhi High Court verdict decriminalizing Section 377 was set aside.
Chief Justice acknowledged the arguments of the petitioners that 377 is a matter of constitutional importance. The advocate used the words and said that it was the most precious and intimate of rights, and that the discussion on 377 should happen before a 5-judge bench. So that referral has been made. We will get a chance to argue before a 5-judge bench, and we will get to debate the issue with the seriousness that it deserves.
The Supreme Court decided the matter be referred to the 5-judges bench because it considers there are constitutional questions involved. And therefore they thought it is fit and proper that it should be referred to the Constitution bench. Primarily, none of the issues that we raised on fundamental rights were addressed. And secondly, there was a change in law, which the Supreme Court noticed but did not see the effect of it, and on the basis of which they should have had a fresh hearing, which they didn't do.
India and Brunei have decided to boost defence ties by conducting joint military exercises as the two countries signed 3 agreements after Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari held talks with Brunei's top leadership. This is the first high-level trip from India since the establishment of diplomatic ties with the resource-rich Brunei. There were 3 main agreements that were signed in the field of health, youth and sports affairs, besides defence. Cooperation in defence already exists in the form of naval ship visits, training of senior military officers in staff colleges, and exchange of experience. This is set to expand now, with India and Brunei agreeing to institutionalize this cooperation. The agreement on health aims to establish cooperation by means of pooling technical, scientific, financial and human resources. In the field of youth and sports affairs, the agreement provides a framework for exchanges of sportspersons and sports teams and exchange of expertise. And back home again, the Reserve Bank of India kept interest rates intact in its 6th bi-monthly monetary policy of the current fiscal. The central bank will, in fact, also chose to keep a watch on inflationary pressures before making its next move. And it also said that it will look to budget 2016-17 for a clear roadmap on key macroeconomic parameters.
Loan EMIs are not falling anytime soon. The RBI is keeping the repo rate at which the central bank lends money to banks unchanged at 6.75% and the reverse repo rate at 7.75%. The RBI also kept the cash reserve ratio, the proportion of deposits banks need to keep with RBI, unchanged at 4%. The RBI has lowered its key policy repo rate by 125 basis points since last January, but banks have passed on only around 50 to 60 basis points to borrowers.
The Reserve Bank continues to be accommodative, even as it leaves the policy rate unchanged in this review, while awaiting further data on the development of inflation.
The central bank says while inflation is expected to hit 6% for January 2016, however, implementation of the 7th Pay Commission could impart an upward momentum to it for the next 1 or 2 years. Analysts say the RBI's decision was on expected lines as inflation exhibited a rising trend. However, industrial production plunged to an over 4-year low, contracting 3.2% in November, raising expectations of corporate India for a rate cut.
Market was expecting that he might like to push the economy. But I think Mr. Rajan is thinking in a different direction. He would like to know the policy initiatives.
The RBI should be a little bold enough and to encourage the industry. Rate cut was expected, and we were expecting that something should come.
Reserve Bank kept its growth projections for Indian economy unchanged at 7.4% for the current fiscal, a tad higher than 7.3% forecast by the World Bank. Meanwhile, it pegged the growth to quicken to 7.6%. The RBI will also ease regulations to help startups raise foreign funding. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act completed 10 years of implementation today. The government held a Manrega Sammelan in the national capital to mark a decade of the successful completion of the Rural Guarantee Scheme, where Finance Minister Arun Jaitley sought to dispel doubts that the NDA government would end or replace the scheme with a new program. He in fact added that the BJP-led government has boosted spending under the UPA's flagship scheme.
The 10th anniversary of Manrega saw both the Congress and the BJP vying for credit. While the centre hailed the scheme as a cause of national pride at a Manrega Sammelan at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi travelled to a remote hamlet in Andhra Pradesh to celebrate it as a Congress programme. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley claimed the NDA government had brought a transformation in the Rural Job Guarantee Scheme. He said the scheme was in a pitiable state under the UPA due to frequent curtailing of funds.
कोई भी योजना ऐसी नहीं होती जिसकी लिखाई पत्थर के ऊपर हो. दे आर नॉट कास्ट इन स्टोन. और इसलिए उसका सुधार करते रहना, उससे एसेट क्रिएशन भी हो, उससे रोजगार के अवसर भी हों, उसमें कोई बिचौलिया पैसे ना ले पाए, इसलिए डीबीटी के माध्यम से बैंक अकाउंट के अंदर सीधे साधन जाएं. ये सारी जितनी योजनाएं हैं और सारे जितने परिवर्तन आपने किए हैं, इन्होंने मनरेगा का स्वरूप भी बदला है. इस देश की गरीब जनता का कल्याण भी इससे हुआ है.
Jaitley also sought to allay fears that the government will discontinue or cut fund allocation to the program.
शायद ये पहला वर्ष होगा जिसमें जो 34-35 हजार करोड़ रुपया दिया गया था वो केवल पूरा खर्च ही नहीं हुआ, उसके अतिरिक्त मनरेगा में शायद कुछ और साधन भी दे दिए जाए. और ऐतिहासिक दृष्टि से भी वास्तविक व्यय जो होता है इस योजना में सबसे अधिक इस वर्ष में होगा.
Rural Development Minister Chaudhary Birendra Singh called the achievements of the decade-long program a source of national pride and celebration.
क्योंकि जब तक ग्रामीण अंचल के अंदर हम आर्थिक तौर पे अपनी 70% गांव की आबादी को आर्थिक तौर पे सबल नहीं बनाएंगे, मजबूत नहीं बनाएंगे, विकास की परिभाषा अधूरी रह जाएगी. और इसी प्रयास के तहत मनरेगा को एक सफल कार्यक्रम में हमने चलाने का निश्चय किया है.
The Rural Job Guarantee Scheme was announced in February 2006 by the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. The act guaranteed a minimum 100 days of employment out of the 365 days in a year to every willing household within 15 days of making such a requisition. Inability to provide employment within 15 days from the date had to be compensated through an unemployment allowance. These provisions made Manrega one of the best wages for work program for the rural poor, and within no time its reach was expanded to cover almost the entire country.
अलाई रुका हुआ है सर. अभी हमारे यहाँ बिल्कुल अभी 10% लोग जो कहीं बाहर रहते हैं, कहीं 10%, लेकिन 90% हमारे यहाँ लाभुक जो मनरेगा के तहत काम करते हैं.
नरेगा से जो सड़क बनाई जा रही है गाँव में, उनमें मिट्टी डाल देते हैं और मलबा नहीं डलता है तो उसमें फिर दोबारा गड्ढा हो जाता है और वो बह जाती है बरसात में. कोई फ़ायदा नहीं हो रहा उससे. अगर वो दोबारा ढंग से बने और उनमें मलबा ढंग से डले तो वो बहे नहीं और फिर उनको 1 साल या 2 साल में डामरीकरण करनी चाहिए.
Since the beginning, the expenditure on the Manrega program has amounted to over 3 lakh crore rupees. Out of this, 71% has been spent on wage payments to workers. Over 1,980 crore person days have been generated in the program. With inputs from Arvind Kumar Singh, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
But Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi upped the ante against the BJP-led NDA government over the Manrega issue. He also reminded the centre that the promise of special status to Andhra Pradesh is yet to be fulfilled.
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi was in Bandalipalli village of Anantapur district in Andhra Pradesh on Tuesday. He met Manrega workers there. The flagship program of the previous UPA government was launched from this village 10 years ago. Addressing a public meeting, Rahul took a dig at the Prime Minister vis-a-vis his government's stand on Manrega.
अरुण जेटली जी मेरे पास आए और उन्होंने भी बंद कमरे में मनरेगा की प्रशंसा की और मुझे कहा कि ये बहुत अच्छा प्रोग्राम है. गरीब व्यक्ति को समझ आ गई बात, मजदूर को आ गई, किसान को आ गई, यूएन को आ गई, वर्ल्ड बैंक को आ गया, इकोनॉमिस्ट को पता लग गई बात मगर हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री को ये बात नहीं समझ आई।
Rahul also used the occasion to target the Modi government on the issue of special status to Andhra Pradesh, asking the Prime Minister to fulfill the promise made during the UPA regime.
के प्रधानमंत्री का फर्ज बनता है कि वो आंध्र प्रदेश को स्पेशल स्टेटस दे। इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया के इतिहास में हिंदुस्तान की सरकार ने एक प्रदेश से वायदा किया और उस वायदों को पूरा नहीं किया जा रहा है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had last year described Manrega as a living monument of Congress's failure to tackle poverty, leading to a war of words between the ruling party and the Congress. Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The government has called an all-party meeting on the 4th of February to discuss the duration of the upcoming budget session of Parliament. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu has written to all parties seeking their advice regarding the budget session, which coincides with the election schedule of 5 states. Usually, the budget session begins on the 3rd week of February and concludes early May. There is a recess in between when the budgetary demands for grants are discussed in the committees. But this year, the process of the assembly elections in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Assam and Puducherry will begin in the midst of the session, and that could affect the number of sittings. A curtailment may be necessary to accommodate campaigns by leaders during the elections. The other option could be doing away with the recess between the two parts of the budget session in order to finish it before the schedule of the assembly polls. Without a quick break here, we'll get you more national and international news in just a bit. Stay with us.
"10 years of Manrega in India. A decade of what's considered the world's biggest ever social welfare program. Just how successful has it been? Has it had the desired impact? Watch the big picture at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue. Each square in turn also narrates some message of wisdom.
India's biggest newsmakers. Opinion makers of the day.
I had 2 questions.
India, we all know we have been having
The focus is really on highways.
They are not stepping out and say that we will do it.
In direct interaction.
You can donate eye, but you cannot donate vision. The lack of the vision is an important problem in the country.
RSTV takes television programming to a whole new level. Watch Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari in full flow on Spotlight, Thursday at 10 p.m. Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get you some more news now. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Global Ayurveda Fest in Kozhikode in Kerala today. The Prime Minister said that the government is fully committed to promoting Ayurveda and traditional systems of medicines. He also said that the escalating costs of treatment and side effects of medicines have prompted experts to think of widening their horizons to traditional systems. Modi also emphasized that necessary steps are being taken to ensure the quality of Ayurveda products being made in the country. Kerala Chief Minister Oomen Chandy, Governor Justice P. Sadasivam and Health Minister V.S. Shivakumar were also present on the occasion.
We are committed to promote the use of traditional medicines in our public health system through regulation of research and appropriate integration of quality products, practices and practitioners into the health system. Traditional medicine is affordable to many of the rural people. It is locally available to the community, time tested for its safety and efficacy.
Well, Prime Minister Modi also launched an attack, a veiled attack in fact, on Congress on the issue of reservations. His remarks came while inaugurating the Employees State Insurance Corporation Medical College in Coimbatore. Addressing a rally there, the Prime Minister alleged that a campaign of lies had been let loose on the issue of Dalits under a deliberate conspiracy to disintegrate the country. Without taking names, the Prime Minister targeted the Congress and its Vice President Rahul Gandhi, who had recently made 2 trips to the Hyderabad Central University to join protests of the suicide of a Dalit scholar, Rohit Vemula.
संपूर्ण भारत माता तब स्वस्थ होती है जब मेरे 125 करोड़ देशवासी स्वस्थ होते हैं, मेरे दलित ताकतवर होते हैं, मेरे पीड़ित ताकतवर होते हैं, मेरे वंचित ताकतवर होते हैं। समाज का दबा हुआ वर्ग 60 साल से जो विकास की प्रतीक्षा कर रहा है, उसको अगर अवसर नहीं मिलेगा तो देश कभी आगे नहीं बढ़ेगा। और इसलिए हमारा प्राथमिकता है गरीबों का भला, दलितों का भला, वंचितों का भला, शोषितों का भला, इसी को लेकर के हम काम कर रहे हैं।
Let's get you some more roundup of national news updates in Nationwide now. Students from various universities across Delhi staged a protest outside the police headquarters today. This after the video surfaced showing police thrashing a group of students with sticks and fists and women being dragged by their hair during a protest of a Dalit student Rohit Vemula's suicide. Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung also summoned the Delhi Police Joint Commissioner S.K. Gautam and sought a report of the police action against the students. The Delhi High Court today issued a notice to the South Delhi Municipal Corporation, the Delhi Police and Ryan International School following the death of a 6-year-old student at the school. This comes after a petition was filed by AAP MLA Colonel Devendra Sherawat, who urged that the court to pass an order directing a judicial inquiry into the incident. Actor Anupam Kher's participation in the Karachi Literary Festival, which starts on Friday, has been cancelled after claims by the actor that he was denied a visa by the Pakistani government. The other 17 Indian participants got their visas in time. Meanwhile, Pakistani officials claimed that the veteran actor had not even applied for a visa. All right, international news now. And US Senator Ted Cruz defeated billionaire Donald Trump at the Iowa Republican caucus on Monday. Cruz took 28% of the Republican votes, beating his rivals Donald Trump and Marco Rubio. Meanwhile, Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton won the Iowa precinct by a coin toss as Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders came to a close tie. Here's more.
About all of us, it's not just me.
A huge setback for Republican frontrunner Donald Trump as he was dealt a terrible blow by his rival Ted Cruz at the Iowa caucus, a crucial vote to be the Republican Party's White House nominee for 2016. Texas Senator Ted Cruz won 28% of votes with 8 delegates. Donald Trump won 24% with 7 delegates. And Marco Rubio won 23% also with 7 delegates. But the loss notwithstanding, Trump sounded optimistic about his chances in the upcoming New Hampshire primary.
I'm just honored. I'm really honored. And I want to congratulate Ted, and I want to congratulate all of the incredible candidates, including Mike Huckabee, who's become a really good friend of mine. So congratulations to everybody.
Let's do Hillary over here.
For the Democrats, it was a tiebreaker, with both Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders winning roughly 50% in the caucus that was too close to call. The former US Secretary of State breathed a sigh of relief as she gained a dramatic victory by coin toss. At the Iowa caucus, ties are solved by picking a name out of a hat or by the simple tossing of a coin. Hillary Clinton won 50% of the votes with 22 delegates. Bernie Sanders also gained nearly 50% of the votes, but with 21 delegates.
Wow!
night, an unbelievable night. What a great campaign. This has been an incredible honor to campaign across Iowa with so many of you to make the case for the kind of future we want for the Democratic Party and for the United States of America.
I think the people of Iowa have sent a very profound message to the political establishment, to the economic establishment, and, by the way, to the media establishment. And that is given the enormous crises facing our country.
The Iowa caucuses kick off the series of elections which will be held in every U.S. state. It will ultimately determine who will become each party's official presidential candidate. Winners of each primary or caucus are awarded a number of party delegates who will endorse that candidate at the party conventions later in July. Whoever has the most delegates wins. The 2016 U.S. election results are eagerly awaited as grundled Americans worry about issues as varied as immigration, terrorism, income inequality and healthcare. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A Pakistani parliamentary panel on Monday asked its government to avoid encouraging support to militant groups in Kashmir. The panel also asked them to take immediate action against terror outfits involved in attacks in Kashmir in order to dispel international concerns. The panel also suggested that Pakistan's policy towards India should be based on 4 key principles: reciprocity, reduction, resumption and result. India has been repeatedly demanding Pakistan action against militant groups operating from its soil. And for more international news updates, let's get you Global Buzz now. The World Health Organization has declared the mosquito-borne Zika virus to be an international public health emergency. WHO Director General has called for coordinated international action to improve detection and speed up work on a vaccine. She also said that curbs on travel or trade are not necessary just yet. The UN hosted a second day of formal peace talks for Syria in Geneva. The talks urged powers to push for ceasefire as the Syrian army and allied militia made further advances today that could cut insurgents' supply lines. The opposition has said that without a halt to bombing, it will not participate in the Geneva talks. Nearly 24 nations gathered today to plot their fight against the Islamic State and how to choke off its rise in Libya. 23 nations from the wider global coalition to counter ISIL will review their efforts to regain Syrian and Iraqi territory from the jihadist group and to discuss ways to curb its influence, especially in Libya. All right, let's change tracks now. Get you all the latest in sports news in Sports Beat. Barcelona star football player Lionel Messi will meet an Afghan boy who gained internet fame after his photos of wearing plastic-made jersey with Messi written on it went viral. The Afghan Football Federation said Messi was keen to meet this young boy as soon as possible, but no dates and venue had been finalized so far. Meanwhile, Argentina's coach Gerardo Martino says that Messi will not be playing in the Rio Olympics. He said that Messi will play in the Centennial Copa America tournament in the US instead. Martino said that it will be too much for Messi to play in both the events. The Centennial Copa America will begin on the 3rd of June and the Olympics will start on the 5th of August. English clubs took their spending on players for the season soaring past £1 billion. The biggest signing on transfer deadline day was that of Manchester City, confirming Pep Guardiola as manager. And that's all we have for you on the news tonight from the entire team here. Good night.